Hey out there, I'm in the city of Shasta, California. It's about 4 miles west of Redding. I'm along Highway 299. And it goes to show, even today you can live in as small a town as you want, even here in California. The population is, I just saw the sign, it's 1,771. So I'm going to drive west a little further to Whiskeytown Lake and that way. It's about 70 miles from where I'm staying in Chico. Takes about an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half. And on the way here, I had a lot of ideas for what to talk about in this video blog I'm doing today. And one of the things that came to my mind, I haven't got a chance to write it down yet, but written. I was thinking about the passage from, I believe it's the book of Proverbs, that on the account of an adulteress, a man is reduced to a loaf of bread. In other words, that his value as a human being has been reduced to, what is equivalent to the value of a loaf of bread, which isn't nothing, but it's, it gives you an idea that it's not much, basically. And I was thinking that, metaphorically speaking, existentially speaking, I would say that the money printing class is the adulteress, and that our politicians are whoring themselves out with this adulteress. That these are people that have this mark of beast, and they would be willing to sign off. It's either on your hand or in your head or both, I guess. And so these are people that would willing to sell their soul and sign off with their hand on that. So it's not just in their beliefs, in their heart and mind, that to have the God of this world, to please the God of this world, they do anything. And to me, that's the mark of the beast. And each one of us individually, regardless of our economic stature in this world, have to ask ourselves that same question. Because even poor people can be evil if they, if they are covetous. So you want to be very careful not to think that what's going to make you happy is to have, access to the God of this world, to have a lot of money, because this whole thing needs to be shaken up dramatically. And all of us has to be ruthlessly honest with ourselves and ask ourselves exactly what will our economic system look like when good is in control of it. It's that simple. Just be really honest. What role will money play if Jesus was running the world today? And, because after all, it's not the stuff we're after. It's after the services and the commodities. And we need to understand that we have an instinctual desire to serve one another. That, we all could be completely prosperous and secure and, just eliminate this need for money that we seem to believe. We've all believed in to some degree that we need money, but really it's not the money, and it's just a lie from the pit of hell. And, we have to certainly not be willing to sell our soul, to sign off our soul and all those components therein, like your integrity and your honor, your, everything, your spirit, your mind, your heart, all those qualities, those invisible qualities that are very real, because, even an atheist has to admit he understands he's got those qualities within him that a man wouldn't sell for anything, There's just certain things you won't do. You won't, for anything. So for no amount of money, no matter how great the whole world you could offer a man, and even probably a lot of atheists, and they wouldn't accept it because they value that invisible quality within their heart, their mind, their spirit, their soul. So that, that just shows everybody, I think, that it's a very real quality. And, that's kind of, to me, evidence of our connection to God, this idea that we have this conscience that will only allow us to go so far before it revolts and says, no, don't do this. You're going against your very instincts to be a decent human being. Well, I'm at Whiskeytown Lake right now, Whiskeytown Dam, National Forest here. Just a couple of miles west of Shasta City there. Absolutely beautiful, breathtaking. It's the mountains around here. You know, after you go west far enough, you really hit some good mountains, referred to commonly as the Trinity Alps. But this place is incredible. Absolutely awesome. So, I'd like to elaborate on the theme that I've gotten started here, and I'm thinking of titling this video something like investigating the poverty industrial complex. And we have to really understand, as if you consider yourself public at large, that what we've got, the situation that we've got, is a conjured up cultural paradigm shift. And the words that I want to use I wrote down on the way here. And yeah, I think this kind of describes it pretty good. It's a conjured up cultural paradigm of perversion inflicted upon the public at large. And that's a situation we've got. We've just got to understand just how roundly, how thoroughly we've all been duped into somehow trusting in the system, this established system. And we really have to shoot for the root of the problem. And, you know, a lot of people have put their lives on the line, and one guy comes to mind immediately is JFK. When he really understood the issue of currency, he understood the fundamental difference between sound currency and unsound currency. And it is imperative, absolutely essential, that everybody that I speak to understands why this is the one commodity these evil doers at the very top of the dog pile, this Illuminati class, the globalist class, the New World Order guys, the uber wealthy mostly, the money printers are probably at the very top, because all these people under them do anything for them, like the politicians. They're just whores, really, for these bankers. They've sold us out. They really have. It's a special interest group, and they hobnob with these money printers. They know which side their bread is buttered on. You know, these people are not bright. It doesn't take a bright person to figure these basic truths out. And, you know, it's understandable how all of us have bought into this paradigm to some degree. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that, you know, I don't value money. I mean, everybody does. God knows that's the paradigm that has been forced upon me, that has been inflicted upon me, that I've been coerced into accepting to some degree at least. It's been foisted upon me. You see, I didn't have a choice. And what we have here is financial terrorism. It really is. It's nothing short of terror. When they inflict this unnecessary suffering upon the masses, knowing full well that it's 100% avoidable suffering upon the masses I'm talking about. This fear-based, this insecurity-based, this anti-freedom, this anti-egalitarian belief system that they've got us all to believe to some degree, that social Darwinism is involved in all this, the survival of the strongest, or maybe it's survival of the most educated. And all you educated people out there, why don't you ask yourselves, why did you go to school? Why did you decide to get a higher education? And in most cases, we all know why it was. It was so that you could get a good job, a good career, and make a lot of money and be successful, and have security and freedom, right? Well, you know, there was a time when I thought, I believed that, you know, somehow this would make me happy. That if I could just have a lot of bread, that somehow
I wouldn't have to feel that fear, that I'd have so much money, I'd never worry about it. I could be as generous as I wanted to be, you know, and I could be secure and free, do whatever I want anytime I want, because that's financial freedom, financial security. So everybody gets that, but I've got to tell you, some years ago, probably about 7, 8 years now, I started listening to other people with other ideas on the internet, because I just got involved with the internet probably in 2005, I guess it was. So it's been a while. But one of my friends told me to start watching this guy Alex Jones, and I started watching the Alex Jones channel on YouTube. And you know what? It was really tough. I mean, at first I was like, right, because instinctively, intuitively, my whole life I've been fighting the good fight, speaking out for the right causes and, justice and mercy and fairness and equity, for everybody, not for a select few, not for certain special interest groups out there, but for the common average working person. And it was really tough pill to swallow, because I felt like I came out of being on the blue pill for all my life. To some degree, I was on that blue pill. I still believe in financial prosperity. For me, just me, I believe in prosperity, but I believe in it universal financial prosperity. And I know, in deep down in my heart, my soul, the marrow therein, I cannot be fully happy while neglecting the concerns of my fellow human being. It's that simple. God won't let me. It's my conscience. It's going against my very instincts. So anyhow, I just wanted to say that, it really traumatized me. It took years for it to really sink in how wicked the rulers of this world were. There was a time I believed the 9/11 story, that it was all, well, all these people say conspiracy, and I've heard that before. But I thought to myself, well, look, how are you going to do research and development on 110-story buildings? Okay, well, the fact is, apparently, you can do quite a bit. These architects and engineers for 9/11 truth. There's some, I think there's over 2,200 at last count. These guys, that people, slowly but surely, all the engineers and architects in America are coming to the understanding that, yeah, this is ridiculous, this is absurdist. I mean, all the architects and engineers should all go to jail. If those buildings were built so flimsy, I mean, what's your problem? Yeah, put them all in jail. So these guys are standing up for the they say it's ridiculous, preposterous, impossible, absurdist to believe that these buildings fell the way that the public has been told through this, 9/11 investigation, which even the majority of the people that were doing the investigation say it's all a bunch of rubbish, nonsense, and that there was never a proper investigation done. So, this is something I gained from listening to this guy, this Alex Jones character, and I love the guy dearly, I really do. And he's one of these guys that right up, he points to the fact that he's not perfect, and I like to do that too. That's a really important quality. It helps break the walls of conceit, ego, and narcissism, to be self-effacing and just and it's honest too. I mean, it really shows honesty, because you know what? We are pathetic. Human beings are pitiable. I could tell you right now that human beings, I believe, are born masters of self-deception, and we're born masters of addiction. Everybody's heard this term put euphemistically, that we're creatures of habit. Okay, but there's a whole lot of habits out there that a lot of us would rather not have, and I fall in that category. And I'm just being honest. But it's a spiritual thing, because I mean, you can't lie to God. So God, my heart, mind, my spirit, my soul, my body, all circuits are open to God's workings. If I open them, because if I shut them, what do I have? I'm nothing. I mean, I didn't create myself. You didn't create yourself. What the hell do I know about making a person? I've got 2 daughters, but what did I do? I just did what came instinctively to me. I fell in love, I got married, and I have 2 beautiful daughters that I couldn't be happier with. And I couldn't love them anymore. But there's one that does, and this is the one I point them to, is to understand that you have divine parents. You have a dad that's called your Father in heaven. That's perfect. He's not like, the dad you have, this stupid dad that's full of, idiosyncrasies and, imperfections, character defects, personality disorders, sin. I've got issues, and it all starts in the mind. And I think it's very important for human beings to differentiate between what's bugging them on a personal level. Maybe like, romantically or something like that, and what might be bugging them on an external, the personal level, romantic as being kind of an internal kind of issue, problem, and the external would be the system, having to contend with this system. We're all